Rather than Manchester United beat Leicester 2-1 thanks to a offside Harry Maguire header. There's no two ways around it. Am I upset about it? No, obviously not. I'm not upset about it. Everybody in that stadium, including that linesman, did not want it to go to extra time and was like, what? Nah, he was onside. It's all right, that goal. Just get the fuck out of it. Either way, look, it was a performance that genuinely United did not deserve to win. We didn't, right? And it was a poor Leicester side that offered almost nothing. They offered nothing in terms of cohesion. They were hard to break down. They were going to be hard to break down, but they didn't threaten us in the slightest. But they still took the lead. And it was no shock when they did, in all honesty. Now, United, I think we've won like 6 out of the last 8, which is crazy because I don't think we've played well once in that. I don't feel like we've played well once in that, even if we have played well once in that. I don't even know if we have. But there's a lot of things to be concerned about. Now, I'm going to get into the players, as usual. We'll start with the goalkeeper. Andre Onana, 6. 0 saves. Sweet. Which shows how little he had to do. But, you know, one of those. 74% pass completion, 17 out of 23. It was a quiet night for him, largely a spectator outside of that Leicester goal. I don't know why it's not classed as a save for the Ndidi effort, which then obviously hits Cordova-Reid in the face. I don't know why that doesn't go down as a save. Statistically, it's not a save. I don't know why. Whatever. Distribution was all right. He didn't go as long as he has been doing. I'm not sure the reasons for that, but it was a 6. It was a 6 out of 10 performance from him. Mazraoui playing initially as left side centre half. Thought that might have been an option with the injury to Lisandro Martinez, and I think he's the sort of player that you can literally play him anywhere. I really wouldn't mind him seeing him in the 6 once everybody's fit in defence. Once you've got your wing backs sorted, I think United are going to go very offensive with our wing backs. Now, obviously, we've been linked with, and Ornstein went really hard on Quenda. If we get Quenda, you've got Dorgu. Yes, they're all young, but like that might be United really going for it with the wing backs. You're going to want defensive-minded people. You can't clone Ugarte. I think Mazraoui and Ugarte as a double pivot sitting in front of a back three with everybody else attacking might be a real smart move. That being said, 12 clearances, 5 block shots, 3 tackles, 88% pass completion, which was 86 out of 98. He did attempt 3 crosses from centre-half. Just showing you the way the game went. 0 of them found anybody. But it was a defensive, solid performance, reliable with him with the ball. He just makes really good decisions. You know, he reads the game fantastic. He makes crucial blocks. Yes, he's reserved in attack. It's not what he's there to do. And United did struggle to create across the board a little bit. I really like Mazraoui. I think he's been a fantastic signing for us. And I think he's done bits. Maguire. Now, I'm really torn on Maguire because I want to give him a good rating because he got the winner. Do I take a point off him for the winner being offside? Shouldn't do, really, should I? So no. But I am going to take a point at least off him for how slow he was and how ponderous he was on the ball. Now, his pass completion was 85%. That's 62 out of 73. But he takes 6-7 touches when 2 would have done. He had 4 block shots, 1 tackle, 6 clearances. Defensively, he was good. He was aggressive, sometimes a little too aggressive, and was lucky not to get pulled up with some more fouls. He stepped up, was in the right spot with the header. The lack of pace is a concern. The lack of tempo to his play doesn't help us going forward. It feels like it's orders, though. It's not just Harry Maguire. It feels like the entire team's doing it slow, but he seems to sort of exaggerate it. Or at least in my opinion, he appears to exaggerate it. I'd love to see him play off too. Because he doesn't scan, he doesn't have the awareness of where the players are on the pitch. So as the ball's coming to him, he doesn't even have a little one, right? As the ball's coming to him, he can never just take the touch and send it. He doesn't have it in his locker. He has to wait till the ball comes to him, focus on taking his touch, then he looks up, then he's like, okay, what's going on there? What's going on there? Maybe that's the one. Actually, this is the one. No, actually, that was the one. You watch him just pass the fucking ball, Harry. Like I said, he exaggerates it, but it's a problem across the team. And he's the one that I think takes the most touches when he's got the ball. He's no longer passing it to someone's back foot, which is a positive, but that might just be because he's in the centre of a free. It was really obvious and exaggerated when he was playing on the left-hand side of a 4 and he was passing it to a fullback who was on the next line, and it would always be to his back foot, which means the ball always comes back. It was fucking frustrating. I'm going to say 7. Lenny Yoro, I'm going to say 7 as well. 5 clearances, 1 block shot, 2 tackles, 91% pass completion, 80 out of 88 passes, 4 long balls attempted, only 1 completed. It was a composed display from him, and his recovery pace, covering right across the back line for both Mazraoui and for Maguire, very much needed. Still slightly passive when it comes to his duels. Could have been a little bit more aggressive when Leicester attacked down United's left-hand side. But yeah, pretty solid performance from him. The development trajectory of him is cooking real nice. He seems to be understanding the Premier League more. He's still got to take command more, and this is just going to be a time thing when it comes to his development. He's got to be more physically imposing when it comes to his duels and stuff like that. He's a little bit lacking when it comes to those at the moment, in my opinion. Into midfield then. So we saw Patrick Dorgu lining up on the right-hand side. That shocked us all, I think. Now, we know he can play there. He can play right wing. He can play right wing back. He can play left wing. He can play left wing back. He's played lots of different positions. Amorim did say post-match the reason why he played him there was because he wanted to talk to him through the game. Didn't fully understand why you need to sub him. It can't be a match fitness thing. He last played like a week ago. He's absolutely match fit. I know he's not had loads of training sessions, but I just didn't understand the requirement to take him off. The other thing is you could have put him on the left then at half-time and talked to him all the way through the second half as well. No, he had 4 clearances, 2 tackles, 82% pass completion, which was 23 out of 28. He attempted just the 1 cross. It was unsuccessful. There was some real nice link-up play. You could see the pace in him. You could see that he was keen to get forward. He won 2 out of 2 of his aerial duels, which was something that I thought he might struggle with the size of him. He won 4 out of 9 of his ground duels. He did have the 1 shot. I thought it was a promising debut, to be honest with you. I thought he got involved. I thought he looked busy. I didn't think he looked nervous. I think it was just like a pretty average kind of performance. I think 6.5 would be a perfectly valid rating for him. I think it was just all right. You know, if people was expecting him to come in and just ball out, it's really not what he's about. I thought it was fine. Taking him off at half-time, didn't necessarily understand why we did that. I thought he was one of our better players. He certainly was one of the ones that looked more likely to do something in the first half. But, you know, it is what it is, I guess. So 6.5, I think, for me. Dalot, I'm going to say 5. 2 tackles, 1 block shot, 79% pass completion, 3 long balls attempted, 1 completed. Dalot, I thought, it made no sense to me why he was played left back. Obviously, the manager has semi-explained that. I think Dalot's been poor under Amorim. I think that's not really a massive understatement. He's been poor. And he has to be a lot better. He's the one whose place I think is in the most jeopardy with Dorgu arriving. I really don't know what's happened to him. He's not creating chances. defensively, he's not really doing it looks like he doesn't know what to do. It looks like he doesn't know where to be, which is mad because he's one of the few that's played this role before in a team. Yeah, poor, I thought, from Dalot. And if anyone was getting hooked at half-time, Dalot was that guy, I thought. Ugarte, 8 clearances, 4 tackles, 1 interception, 83% pass completion, 52 out of 63. Created 1 big chance. As usual, 7. As usual, a bit of a workhorse in midfield, covered a lot of ground, was very key in breaking up the Leicester attacks. Tackling was well timed. Energy was good. Got himself about the place. Passing wasn't great, but I also don't think the movement was great. It's his responsibility to deal with what's going on. You don't just pass it for the sake of it, and then be like, oh, someone should have made a better run. No, you're in possession. You make the call better. I thought it was a solid, unspectacular performance. Just sort of like reliable. Yeah, not fantastic, not match winning, reliable sort of anchorman performance from him, which is what you kind of want to expect. Bruno Fernandes, 83% pass completion, 53 out of 63. It's getting a little bit better. 3 key passes. He tried 14 long balls, 10 of which he actually found his man with. The problem with this is he's the only player in the team that has got range. There's the opportunity to switch the ball, which is such an effective technique. There is just not enough players in this team that can switch the ball. Now, I think Bruno was forced to dictate from deep at times, and wasn't in his usual sort of role creating. It was a hell of a lot deeper. Wasn't as influential as he can be or as creative as he can be, which is a problem for us because when he doesn't create, there's nobody else who can create. So I'm going to say it's a 7 out of 10, I think, for Bruno. In attack, we'll start with Menu. I thought he struggled to make an impact, was easily crowded out. Even the times when you expect him to come alive, the times when I think he's really good, when it sort of suits what he's about, in and around the box where it's tight and congested, he generally has the ability to jink past somebody. He was like half a step off. He just off with it. He only won 2 out of 6 of his ground duels. He wasn't involved in the passing anywhere near as much as you want him to be. 14 out of 18 shows that. He had 1 shot. He just looked off the boil. Just a bit of a different tune to everybody else, I thought. Could be the way Leicester crowded it out. It could be another reason. I think one of the things that this United team suffers from, and did touch on this last night, is just an absolute lack of rotation in position. Like, we stand in our positions, very Louis van Gaalish, like we occupy these positions on the pitch. That's it. So 5 for Kobe Mainoo. Diallo, I'm going to say 6.5 for Diallo. 2 key passes, 90% pass completion, very reliable as usual in possession, generally quite effective when it comes to chance creation. 8 dribbles, only 3 successful, which is low for him. He generally has a lot more impact when it comes to running at defenders, but we didn't really see him showing that off at all, I don't think, against Leicester, and that was perhaps a bit of an issue for us. It did look like he was trying to link it up with Dorgu in the first half, but I think an issue of them both being left footers that want to chop on the inside, you can't really get a partnership going on one flank when both players are trying to do the same thing. So I think that was a little bit of a mistake from Amorim to play them both on that side. If you'd have played them on opposite sides, you can have them, one going wide on one side, one cutting in on the other side, and they could have, helped provide a little bit of width for us and options for us going forward. But yeah, he wasn't at the races really. There are glimpses of quality, but again, wasn't really at the races for him. But I think he was a little bit better than Mainoo. So I'm going to say 6.5 for Diallo. And then Rasmus Højlund up front. 8 duels contested and he won 2. He won none of the ones in the air. He got involved with 8 passes. He completed 8 passes out of 13, 62%. He did get 2 shots, And yes, you can say starved of service. United didn't create anywhere near enough opportunities, I don't think. But his movement isn't intelligent. His build-up play is wanting. His hold-up play feels non-existent. There was a couple of opportunities, can't remember if it was first or second half. They might have been second half, where he just ran his runner, and you're like, yeah, this is what's good about you. Like the one where he ran in, received the ball, and then dribbled all the way into the box. That was the only time he looked dangerous, and you go, this is your game. Play this. Stop trying to be Mark Hughes, mate. Just do this. This is what you're good at. This is why you got signed for Manchester United. Do those things and not those things. So it's poor again. 5, I think, for Højlund. Substitutions-wise, Garnacho. I think Garnacho was an 8. He only had 12 passes, 12 out of 15. And supposedly only completed 2 dribbles, one of which was successful. But he was dangerous. And he changed the tempo. He gave United a bit of front foot impetus. He missed a couple of real big chances. And the one where he's dragged it near post, that's just incorrect technique and decision-making from him again. You're taught from being 7 or 8 years old, you've got to go across the keeper. You've got to go far post. You drag it near post and miss. There's no recovering that. You put it far post and the keeper saves it. He generally pushes it back into oncoming traffic. Look how Leicester scored, for Christ's sake. You know, these are basics of football, and those decision-making things will really elevate his game. His finishing needs work. His decision-making still needs work. He was probably United's best player yesterday. You know, he created space for others by being aggressive with his running and being front foot. The entire game yesterday, United were far too happy to play it back. You know, no one wanted to turn and get at the opposition. And when I keep talking about how boring United are, this is what I'm talking about. Garnacho, you know, he's many things. I think his finishing and his decision-making are very low level. And I think they're really holding back from what is quite good attacking instincts. Because all he wants to do is get at people. He's not boring. I just don't think he's elite. I don't think he's the sort of player that I'd pin my hopes on to take us forward. But he ain't boring. And I think that's why people are enjoying him watching play at the moment. So he gets an 8. Xerxes. I think Xerxes also had a little bit of a difference. And he was involved heavily in duels. He won 7 out of 10, which is actually more than he did in terms of passes. He had 5 out of 8. He was Johnny on the spot for the goal. It was the easiest goal he's ever going to score. But again, with Xerxes, United were finding opportunities coming down Garnacho's side. There was link-up play that was happening there, and they were flashing the ball back across the box to the area that Xerxes was supposed to be. And he just wasn't there. He was too slow. And there was 2 minutes after he's just come on. And you think, Xerxes, you've got to get in there. To quote Roy Keane, that's your job, mate. You've got to get in the box. You know, we're not getting loads of opportunities in the box anyway. Our striker, or 9.5, whatever it is that you want to call yourself, has to be in the box to finish those chances. You are, and you will. So there's still loads that can be fixed in terms of where United go from here. And it's some basic stuff that we've got to improve. Either way, we're in the next round of the Cup. I guess there's some positives to take from that. We've got a decent week of prep now before the next game. Let's get into it, eh? See you in the next one. Give us your thoughts in the comments. See you in a bit. Oh, I'm probably going to do a late night live tomorrow if you want to stick around for that. Come and join us. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.